Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Conversations with Cami webinar that we at Schoolscape are hosting. And a big welcome to you, Nicole. It's very nice to have you on board and on this webinar with us. Yeah, we're looking forward to what you've got to say for us today.
Thank you so much, Werner. I'd like to start with gratitude, just landing how grateful I am for the Schoolscape team in the way that they share the greatest solutions with schools. And it's always a pleasure to work with your team. Thank you for hosting today's webinar.
Oh, great. It's, for us, it's a great pleasure. And it's amazing for us to work with companies such as yourself. I think the edtech space, especially now in education, is very relevant and an exciting time to be in education. And then also a big welcome to all the participants. When you're live, please pop in a message into the chat or send us at the bottom of your screen. You'll see there is an emoji bar. Please send us some kind of either a thumbs up or a smiley face or something similar, especially if you like what we say, if you're excited of what we're doing. And if you don't like what we say, send us an email afterwards. But yeah, for that, so I'm going to wait just 2-3 minutes just to make sure that everybody that's supposed to be on is coming on live. Nicole, up until then, I know you guys have had a conference up in the USA, if I'm not mistaken, not a while back. Did that go well?
Yes, thank you, Werner. We've had lots of conferences overseas. Cami, as you know, is a global company, and it is a privilege that we in South Africa get to tap into a global edtech innovation solution like Cami. And I just feel so lucky to be able to share in my immediate community as well as to schools all over the world. So yes, lots of conferences happening and lots of wonderful stories of teachers and students and the impact that these tools have in their classroom spaces. Thank you so much to everyone who's joining. I know how busy schedules are, and I just want to say that it is appreciated. You could have spent your time doing any number of things, but I definitely want to respect your time and make sure that this is useful. And also to let you know that you have complete agency after this if you would like to connect some more and get your learn on with Cami and empower yourself. Thank you so much.
Nicole, if you can maybe give us a short introduction into Cami and tell us a little bit about what exactly. It's a very exciting tool, I know, and how can we use it better? So yeah, Nicole, I know there's a number of things that you can do and can't do. No, I don't really think can't do, because I think everything is literally possible with Cami. So please give us a short intro into what we can expect for today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Werner. So we're going to take a look at what exactly Cami is, how do I get you connected to using Cami, and we're going to have an initial experience where we actually play in Cami, because the best way to learn anything is to have an experience, a fun experience that helps you to get used to something new is the best way to take on the new learning. So that's what we're going to do. Our initial slide is just introducing the idea that Cami is actually a tool that allows you to help and support your students to stay engaged. You haven't lost your teacher magic. The world has changed and students have become very engaged by media and technology. But that is something that we have to support your teacher magic, which we want to be the shining star in every classroom space. We want to make sure that teachers are able to save time, and Cami is a tool that really has a massive impact on time saving and efficiency for teachers. You can see in this image so many things on offer in Cami, and we'll have a chance to explore some of those today. But the first thing you need to do when you are introduced to Cami is to get the extension. So I want to make sure that while you're in this call, or those who are listening to the recording later, that you are empowered to have Cami at your fingertips in whatever internet browser you use. So I'm just popping in the chat now. If you're using Google Chrome, won't you click on that Google Chrome extension link? And if you're using Microsoft Edge, won't you click on the Microsoft Edge extension? The extension is completely free and allows Cami to connect with your Drive and your usual teacher platform so that you can have a seamless experience inside of Cami. And the tools that Cami connects to help you do what you do, but enable you to save time and have extra functionality are listed here. So if you're in a Google school, you might know some of these tools that are listed here: Drive, Google Classroom, Docs, Sheets, Slides. And if you're in a Microsoft school, you might know those underneath that are the Microsoft suite. And some of you, or maybe all of you, might also know some design programs like Canva. And all of these tools directly connect to Cami. So from within inside of any of these tools, you can in fact open into Cami. And we hope you will enjoy doing that now that you have the extension, which has enabled all of those connections for you. We also have a shortcut. So when you are using Cami on a device that does not have the extension, such as a mobile phone or an iPad, of course, they don't have Chrome and they use Safari. So you can always just type in cami.app into your browser and you will then be able to get to your Cami dashboard. Or you can use the quick link cami.new to begin whiteboarding in any circumstance on any device. But we're going to have our own unique experience today, because Cami is all about making connections. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this link in the chat, and I'm going to ask us all to hop into this document together and literally be in the Cami space, experience some of the tools together, and be able to have a demonstration of what it's like for you to do the same in your own classroom spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and be on this document, but I'm going to watch you coming and joining me. So on the bottom right of my screen, I'm going to start to see more and more colorful profile circles, letting me know who is in the document alongside me. This is a simple way that we can collaborate with our students or with our colleagues in order to have processes happening simply and efficiently in your teacher role. Because today we are gathering together, I'd love for us to make a connection. And so in my toolbox, you'll see that I've got lots and lots of tools, but in your toolbox, you should just see one tool for now. That is the text box tool. Now I'm going to break it down really simply. If you've never been in Cami before, I'm going to give you a chance to get into this document. It may be asking you, if it's your very first time in Cami, to sign in. You can do so with your school Microsoft or Google account just by clicking on Continue with Microsoft or Continue with Google. And that will be a safe single sign-on for you that you can use in Cami anytime. Once you are in the document, I'm starting to see you join the document by looking at the profile circles at the bottom right here and seeing the little green dot to indicate those who are live in this document with me right now. I can also click on the plus icon to see more of these icons, and that allows me to just keep a track of who's in this collaborative space. Now, you may have used other collaborative tools before, but welcome to a very unique supportive structure for collaboration. One that I hope you'll find easy and simple to use in your classroom spaces because of its unique operative system. So what I'm going to do, I can see Ina is already ahead of the curve. I love it. Won't you grab the text box tool? Now, inside of Cami, you click on a tool and then you click on the page. So like Ina's done, won't you click on the text box tool, that capital T, and then click on the page in one of the gray blocks and just type for me your name, please. You can grab whatever block you like. And if you end up grabbing a block where somebody else is as well, not to worry. You can move your text box by hovering over it and grabbing the little cross, which allows you to simply move your text box around. So in the Cami environment, the space that we're in now, what happens is the document or resource or teaching material gets locked to the background, and you have a dynamic space that you can interact on top of that. So you'll notice that you're not accidentally deleting the blocks on the page or the title that I've put here, because that is now affixed inside of the Cami environment. And I'm excited to see you popping your names on the page here. This is really awesome. And I'm going to just add a little bit of excitement onto this page as well. I've got a few more tools. So while some of you are just having a chance to pop your names on here, I'm going to add a love learning sticker, because you know what? Students love learning inside of Cami. They need your help. They need your teacher inspiration. But these tools make making connections with both the text and with one another super simple. So we're in this page together. We're able to put our names on the page, which is great. I'm going to also turn on for you another tool so that you can see in real time. I can update the functionality that you have on this page. So I had only given you initially the text box tool, but you should see now you also have the drawing tool. So if you wanted to have a chance drawing your name, writing your name on the page, you can do so with the drawing tool just by using your finger if you're on a touch screen as a pen experience, or I don't actually have a touch screen on my second screen. So I'm just using my mouse, but it's still possible for me to draw my name on the page. Have a little play with the drawing tool. Or if you see somebody, you recognize their name, maybe just make a little mark there. I'm going to put a little tick here next to Frankie. It's so nice to see Frankie as a Cami hero. He's joined us on the page here today. That's wonderful. Thank you for popping your names on this page. In this space where we're going to connect, I'd love for you to be able to have a network afterwards. So if there are people who are watching this video later, they are welcome to add their names. There are more pages below that you could add your name at a later stage. And if you would like to share your details with others, perhaps you'd even want to put your social handle. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine on the top here of my little block. I'm going to use the text box again just by clicking on that text box. And I'm going to put @NicoleRennieZA. If you're a Twitter teacher or an Instagram teacher and you want to get a personal learning network of connections of like-minded teachers who also want to incorporate technology in their classrooms, go ahead and put your social handle there so we can follow one another, learn from one another in this journey together. The next tool that I'd love to give you is one of the really awesome tools that allows you to take a snapshot or a video on a page. So I'm going to give you the Add Media tool, and I'm going to give you the Take Photos option. Now you should see in real time that your toolbox has been updated, and you now will have the ability to click on the Add Media tool and to add a photograph of yourself by clicking the camera icon. And then you will see a window pop up that allows you to choose Take Photo. And you can click on the page to drop that photo on the page. And you can resize it by either using the crop icon or by using the purple circle at the bottom right. I see Nikki. That's wonderful to see you, Nikki. Nikki is a colleague of mine that I hope that you'll all get to meet at some point. She's recently joined the Cami team. She's an absolute rock star. And together we are loving helping South African schools who have jumped into the possibility of using Cami in their classrooms. I can also see Verna. Wonderful to see. As we are in the space together, we can actually interact so easily. Now, these Cami tools are designed to not be a mission for you to operate. They are not needing a specific training that takes a long time for you to get into them. They're designed for you to click on the tool and click on the page, and you can immediately start to use these tools, and they fit together with whatever resource you had to start off opened inside of Cami.
Nicole, if I can I quickly stop you there? I just want to say this is, I must tell you, really amazing. I wouldn't say a bit technologically retarded, but I came after technology, or technology came after me. I don't know which one it is, but this is really easy to use. I'm quite surprised, and normally the older teachers has got a bit of a restraint against new technology. I must tell you, this is really, really easy to use and lovely to play with. So sorry, I did interrupt you. Please continue and show us more about what Cami can do.
Oh, thank you for that feedback. Yes, I completely agree, Vanna. You know, the thing about Cami is you actually don't have to have a huge amount of technology experience at all. It is a tool that is fun and easy to play around with. And that's the same for your students. Being able to, as I'm doing in this demo, scaffold those tools also helps, especially for when you're teaching littles. Give them one tool at a time and let them get comfortable with that. We've now had a chance to try several tools, and I've just loaded one more tool in your toolbox that you'll see inside of that little speech bubble, the comment tool. You can have an opportunity to land a voice comment on the page. Now, the voice comment tool, if it's the first time you're using it, it might just send you a pop-up message to allow your microphone, and it'll then give you a chance to click and actually load a voice comment. So why don't you have a chance? I'm going to give you a few minutes of my being quiet so you can just say your name and record a little something about you. And then we'll be able to discover each other's voice comments on the page in a second. You should start to see some of those voice comments now on the page. And you will be able to click and play on those whenever you want, as many times as you want. So this is a quick demonstration of a number of things that are important in a classroom setting too. We're just connecting here today on the page, but in a classroom setting, using that voice comment to record reading fluency or to record students saying their names, developing a sense of belonging, and to have students respond in a way which is a verbal response rather than a text response. These are all powerful ways that you can actually enhance the learning experience or make it easy for you to give feedback to your students. So it's really exciting to see this happening in real time on the pages here. And what I'd like to do now is to just also bring us back to some of the features that we are experiencing together in this page. If you've ever collaborated before with students on a page, it can be a tricky task to do, but Cami does this quite differently. I know that you've been able to click and type on the page, but I'd love for you to just try what happens if you need to move your text box to somewhere else on the page. So I'm moving my name from the gray block up a little bit higher than my photo. Is it easy for you to move the text that you've put on a page? Just have a go and see. You might need to click on the select tool. So I'm going to make sure you have that select tool now. And when you've got that select tool, it will allow you to click on your text box and grab the text box itself or the cross icon in order to move. I'm seeing Annika is able to move her name. I'm seeing others are able to do the same. And that makes it easy for you to reflect and refine something you've put on the page. But in the era where we're trying to teach our students to be responsible digital citizens, we also want ownership over what they put on the page. And so here's where some of Cami's magic goes beyond other collaborative tools. If you try to see what happens if you click on somebody else's icon, if they've put a picture on the page or they've put their name on the page, try and see what happens if you try to move or delete or change what they have contributed to this document. And let me know what happens. You can chat it out in the chat. You can pop your mic on. Let me know what happens if you try to change somebody else's feedback on the page. Henk says he can't move it. Absolutely right. You may, in some instances, if you hover over a text box, have one icon that allows you to read out loud what somebody else has put on the page. That can be very useful, but you don't have the ability to delete or change or move somebody else's work. This is golden when you're trying to collaborate in class.
Nicole, this is also how you keep a bit of the naughty kids at bay, because I could imagine how you can go around and change other people's stuff or other kids' stuff, and it can become a little bit of chaos. So this is an absolutely amazing setting that Cami has got.
Absolutely. And I'm just also going to give you an experience of when we have a lot of devices in our classroom. I've been in that EdTech coach role and tried to support teachers who are using technology in the classrooms. And I appreciate that that can be tricky, in fact, trickier than not having devices in your classroom. But some of the ways Cami supports is, you'll notice I've just turned off all your tools on your toolbox. So when I want to have that eyes up moment and have students actually looking at me and hearing my feedback in person, I can turn off those tools and manage distraction in that way. I could turn on the tools that are necessary and not the ones that they don't need for that task.
Nicole, the nice thing about the whole setup that you can do is that obviously there's certain things that you can allow kids to do and certain things that you can't allow them to do. And then that makes it also in your control. I think in a sense, and I think most of the time that's what teachers like is to be a bit in control. I think the other thing is the biggest buzzword, or one of the big buzzwords in teaching now is collaboration. And this creates the platform to be collaborative. I always found it in the past, and I taught many years back, but in the past it was quite difficult to foster collaboration. And then with this tool, it makes it actually very easy.
It does. And I'm grateful that it gives teachers a chance to practice habitual collaboration. And what I mean by habitual collaboration is we should be giving our students opportunities to in person know how to be a contributor and a collaborator, but we also owe it to our students to give them these opportunities digitally. And that's possible on whatever format of devices you have available to yourselves and your students. In Kami, you can easily get people onto a page. We have a whole library of templates, so you didn't need to start with my template. In fact, I'm not a graphic designer. The template that we're using today is simply designed in slides, and then I use my magical open with Kami button in order for us to experience that space inside of Kami. So that's what I mean by clicking through from the programs you trust and love, and then being able to enhance that experience inside of Kami.
Nicole, if I maybe can quickly interrupt you there. So can Kami be used on Google and Microsoft or any type of device, or is there any limitation connecting? I don't know, I jump ahead, but it's a pertinent question for me now.
That's a great question. Thanks, Vern. And in fact, we might just initiate a poll at that point to ask and so it allows you to be able to do your single sign-on with either a Google account or a Microsoft account, and also, in fact, allows you to have the flexibility with both. And the way that I shared this document with you was to allow both Microsoft and Googlers to be in a page. But when you're in your school, you can have in-domain sharing only. So you can actually restrict who you share a document with. And I'll just show you how I was able to generate that link to share with you. So at the top of anything you open in Kami, it's possible for you to click and create a share icon. If you're in a Google school, you'll have a Google sharing option, and the same for Microsoft. But I've used one that is capable for both. And then you have the option to make the document editable by all, make a copy for each person that they work on their own version of the document, or just have people view the document. So you can collaborate like this with one quick creation of a link, and you can even get your students onto the page or your colleagues onto a page to moderate a paper by means of a QR code. So we also have that quick access to getting into a page. Some of the other ways that Kami supports a unique collaborative structure is when we have a lot going on in a collaborative space, students and adults can find it difficult to focus on their own thoughts. And so by using these icons at the bottom of the page, I can actually turn on or off other contributors' thoughts for a moment while I focus on my own. I can even do that by turning off all the collaborators or on all the collaborators using those. And so can students themselves. They can have their own personal view of what's happening in this page, and they can also use the dark or light mode from their settings in order to be able to make the experience preference for themselves. So if they prefer to use the dark mode, that is also an option to them. And the other things available in the space while we're here for a teacher only is I can click next to where it says Kami at the top right here, and I can choose to see a summary of every page and how many annotations are on the pages. I can also see a time-stamped list of who's annotated what. So I really am able to get a sense, if I've assigned a group task, who's needing extra support, who hasn't really contributed, and who's really got in and got involved. And then I also have a hidden annotation box as a teacher where I can use my frequently needed feedback or comments or a audio or anything that I save that I want to reuse. So that makes marking and giving my feedback really, really easy as well. that is another session which I hope you'll book with me at any time. We can go over that annotation box with you, but I just wanted you to see some of the uniquely supportive structures that Kami has for collaboration.
And Nicole, a quick question on that. So if we create something in Kami or some kind of task or anything, and then you can share it with the other teacher, and the other teacher will be able to see when a learner has answered the task, and then the teacher can mark it, and you can also see when the teacher has marked it as well.
Absolutely. So we fully integrate with learning management systems. If you don't have a learning management system like Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom, you can link share your assignments in this way. But if you use Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom, you will actually have right from within inside those platforms the ability to create Kami assignments that open up this potential.
Because I was specifically thinking, if you're not an HOD at the school, then there can be tasks created or assignments created, and then it can be shared throughout your teacher team, and then they can share it to the kids. It can be done, and everybody can see when it's marked. So that's a great part to do for the school.
That's right, Werner. And some instances where a school maybe doesn't yet have student devices, or just would like to start with having Kami as a tool for the teachers to use, they begin by the administrative processes happening in Kami. So start with an environmental goal of actually saving paper and printing costs. And I can show you some basic examples of how just from your email, for instance, you can actually right-click and open directly into Kami any documentation that you've been sent. And instead of needing to find a printer and then fill it out in pen and then find a scanner and then mail it back to the person, here is a real consent form from a school in Durban. I can actually just open this up and I can start filling it out with my text box tools and my digital signature tool. And this can be shared with others if more than one person needs to sign off this documentation. And you can save your own signatures to use in this way. And really, you can get your admin done in no time at all. I'm able to, I've put the signature over here. I'm going to move that and use my date stamp. And here I could actually either download this document as a flattened document to now email back the person, or I could share it with the person who also needs to sign it, choose my sharing permission, and then create that link that others could then interact with me on this page and get that admin done in a fraction of the time.
Goodness, I must tell you, if I look at this and I think about it in the inside of a school, it's not only the teachers, or maybe in a classroom setting. You can even use this across the admin staff as well. There's a lot of usages for Kami.
Absolutely. One of the things that we give as a report to each Kami school once a year is, here's how many trees you've saved. Here's how many rands, cents that you've saved and not going to that printer to print this document. So every time a teacher loads a document, that is an equivalent saving of paper that they're not printing. Of course, I'm the first one with 3 children in schools to agree that there is still space for paper and pen. Don't get the wrong idea here. I'm not suggesting we throw out paper and pens completely, but to be able to have a blended experience where sometimes we're using paper and sometimes we're experiencing digital tools is really where we want to be going to prepare our students for their future. So we have the opportunity to do both and to save a lot of money in costs like this for a school.
Nicola, I just thought maybe I want to add on that. I think the nice thing about Kami is that it creates that blended learning experience. And when back in the day when we were teaching, I think the nice thing to always say is we're preparing the kids for in 20 years' time. But none of us really knows how does in 20 years' time look. So this is nice. So you can, like you say, you're not like throwing away the paper and the pen. This can be part of this, but there's also this digital experience that they can have that can prepare them well for what's lying ahead, which we don't necessarily know.
Absolutely. And Vern, one of the things that teachers often ask me is, what if my students can't do their work on a device? And the thing that I love about Kami is that it will grow with you, with the infrastructure you have. So if you're in a classroom where all you have is an overhead projector, even in the way of just plugging in one device in the front of the classroom and using your overhead projector, you can actually enhance the experiences through the magic Kami has. If you're not fortunate enough to have something more than that, you can still use Kami with your basics. And in terms of students, you can still save time with marking digitally. If your students need to do their work or prefer to do their work on pen and paper, you know that camera tool we just used? Well, you can take a photograph of the page, just hold it up to your teacher device, pop it on the digital page, and now your teacher doesn't have to go home with masses of books and physically mark those pages, but can give rich feedback by using the Kami tools to give that personal connection. I'm able to give an audio comment or a video comment or something more personal that my students will really respond to. Most of our students, we're very fortunate in South Africa. If they don't have their own device, they do have access to at least a parent phone. And any phone has the capacity to have Kami on it. And so there is no one that doesn't have an equitable chance to be using Kami in some way or shape. And that can then grow as you grow your resources in your schools.
I must tell you, that's awesome. I can remember, like in marking was one of the biggest challenges for me in teaching, and it's always you've got that stacks of papers or books and stuff that needs to go home, and they need to get marked. So now this is a much easier way, much simplified way to do it. Like you say, the feedback you can give the kids, I think that's also one of the great advantages, because feedback is one of the best possible things our kids learn, and the quicker the feedback, the better. And now you can give it either by writing something or even a voice comment. For me personally, you know me well, I've got a bit of verbal diarrhea, so I would have liked the verbal comments that I could have given.
Yes, I mean, you're inspiring me to just show one of these slides of one of our most popular tools, and that is actually the ability to use class view. Now, this, let me share that with you again. This little graphic will give you an idea. Of course, it looks slightly different in whatever LMS you're using, but we now have this class view available in Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom and Schoology and Canvas, where teachers can open up not just one student copy at a time, but the entire class view, and in real time, see what's happening, give feed forward, we like to call it, where you can encourage your students along the way when they need that, or give feedback once they physically turned in. And you can grade here, you can give your results here, your scores go directly into your learning management system. So the end product, when you get to that point, if you have that infrastructure of an LMS, Kami slots right into that and gives you amazing ways to save time and give effective feedback.
Nicole, I must tell you, there's so many things, and for me, what's exciting is the fact that you can explore Kami. Like I said, it seems to me like there's almost nothing Kami can't do, or there must be a solution somewhere in Kami for everybody and for every need that you've got. Now, one of my biggest questions is that I know I did a bit of research, and I know there's over 40 million teachers and students using Kami globally. So why do teachers love Kami, and what do teachers say they find most useful about Kami? Because I think it's nice to see all the stuff that can be done, but what's the most useful stuff that they use, or what they're excited about?
Thanks, Ben. Well, actually, you're right. There are now over 40 million teachers and students using Kami in the world. And that's an exciting stat. But what's more exciting than the number of people is the impact of the Kami tools in the classroom every day. And every year we do survey thousands and thousands of teachers, and we do collate that. And so there's a link in these slides that you'll all get afterwards to our teacher wellbeing report, where we're constantly trying to listen to and respond to the on-the-ground teacher needs and student needs. Now, I didn't leave the classroom because I didn't want to be a teacher. I'm passionate about Kami and working to help teachers use Kami because I've seen its impact in the classroom myself. And so having taught with Kami and helped other teachers teach with Kami, I've seen the impact, but listening to other teachers, thousands and thousands of teachers say it saves time. Every week it saves on average 8 hours of time. That's more time you can be with your family. That's more time you can help your students in person. that is more time that you can take a breather. We know how much pressure teachers are under. Never has it been a more challenging job. And so that is the one thing that really comes strongly from our feedback from teachers. They tell us that. And the other is that it really helps teachers to make connections. It helps them to enhance the resources they already use and not have to reinvent the wheel, but take those and empower them easily by just putting them in the Kami platform.
So, Nicole, that's I must tell you, that's awesome. I was thinking while we're talking now, if there's some of the attendees, if you guys have got, or ladies have got questions, please pop them in the questions tab, and then we can answer them one by one. And there's also a poll running. Remember to please answer that poll whether your school is running a Microsoft or a Google account. That being said, Nicole, is there anything else that you would like to show us, or can we go a bit over to Q&A, or what you're thinking?
I'd like to show you a little bit of local feedback as well, and that is from a wonderful teacher at Rivonia Primary. Kirsten discovered Kami at Schoolscape, so this is a wonderful story both of Kami's impact and Schoolscape's impact. And here is just a letter that I received, I think it's yesterday, 2 days ago, the day before. And this is the kind of feedback we have from teachers. Please dig in and start using Kami. It's not a game changer until you experience it and you know that it's a game changer. But teachers who use Kami in their classroom, students who use Kami in their classroom, they tell us it changes how they can interact with their learning. It changes their success. It changes the empowerment they have to be successful in their learning outcomes. So I really appreciate this feedback. Kirsten said that I could share this with you. And I'd love for you to pop your own questions if you have into the chat. Really, this is designed for a question and answer. But at the end of our call, I'll make sure we land with how you can book demo time with me after this if you'd like to see other features live, so that I can really help you with your own questions and your learning in Kami.
Nicole, so one of the biggest questions I've got, and I know, I think it's a pertinent question in South African schools. We're very price sensitive, we're very cost sensitive, so everybody would want Kami. So how does it work? How does schools, teachers, and even the whole districts get a hold of Kami, and what's the price? What's the cost going with that?
Well, the great news is that we are a company that is accessible to everyone. We have a very much an open door, open email, open phone policy. You can reach out as a school and let us know your interest in Kami. The first step, though, is to just have Kami. Have it, use it, explore it, and then you will know and understand the value and the solutions that it provides for your school. We'll work with you during that time. During the time where you're exploring Kami, and if you choose to become a Kami school, you will have unlimited free training and support. And for a license cost, if you decide that that is the way for you, if it's a good fit for your school environment, is extremely affordable for South African schools. Of course, if you go and look at the website, you might be put off because we have got American pricing up on the website. But for South African schools, we currently have incredible international discounts where you can get Kami with a premium license for under 50 Rand per user per year, which is really incredible. And if you think about the costs you can save by not printing everything and being able to use Kami, it really is a no-brainer. So I really encourage everyone, get on the journey, get your learn on, meet with me, let me help you and support you, and we can give your school these incredible, innovative tools.
So, Nicole, I think that part about the cost, it must be music to our ears, because all of them are always worried, what do we have to pay for this? And this is such an amazing tool, but would we be able to afford it? Now, if all of a sudden you now open up a world for me and say, listen, but we can use Kami and it's cost effective. So now I've gotten used to it. I've played around a bit, but I need support. How does that work? Now I get stuck with anything, and then I'm not sure how to handle it. So does Kami support me in some kind of way, or how does that work?
Absolutely. And so there are a number of features that remain available to you, even if you decide that you aren't able to purchase a Kami license, one of which is the Kami library that is totally free forever, as well as a number of the tools in the Kami suite that are free tools. And those are available for you to go and explore anytime. The library is a space where you could go and look up resources by subject, by type, by grade. You can pick a resource and you can either choose to download it or to open it directly into Kami and begin using it. But in terms of getting hold of us and getting support along the way, I've never worked with a company that's more responsive to its community. And Nikki and I hope to not let you down in that way either. We are committed to giving you amazing support. I'm going to just pop my link in the chat here, but you'll have it at the end of the session as well. And that is available to anyone, anytime. You can book as a one person for some time to chat with me about Kami, or you can book a group of teachers for a teacher training. That is an ongoing facility available to you. We reach out if you have direct questions via email, and we support your classroom practices as they happen.
So cool. Like, I think the one nice thing I hear is the fact that you're always by my side. You never leave me, because teaching, how wonderful job it is, it can become a lonely job. And even if I think I know enough or I know everything, all of a sudden I might get stuck. So it's nice to hear that me as a teacher can reach out to you and you're always available and you'll get back to me and you can unstuck my stuck. Because at the end of the day, I think the one challenge in teaching, or I find, and it depends on your security of yourself, is that I don't want to feel exposed in front of my students. So it's nice to know if I get stuck somewhere, I can get back to you and say, listen, what's this? How does it work? So I would be fully supported and in safe hands.
Yes, thank you. And it really is our pleasure to do that. It is incredible for me to meet with teachers every day and support what it is that they would like to do in their classroom spaces. And one of the things you might like to do as South African teachers this week is to open up an Heritage Day resource. We're about to celebrate Heritage Day. This is a resource you could use immediately with your class that would allow you to explore some of the tools and features. So this is going to be available in the slides afterwards. That link is there if you were desperate to get it now. But that is a typical resource that can be made available to you inside of Kami for you to use. And I want to land by just enormous gratitude for your time today. I know it's a quick time and I wanted to make it much more conversational. I know I've had teachers who have these burning questions. So Verna, I appreciate you being able to ask those open questions. But also, you know how you can reach out more. We have a Kami certified course that you can see on our website. And also I can pop that link into the chat, which is asynchronous. It's also free. And it's kamiapp.com/certified. And that course will allow you to actually become accredited and get SACE points and go through all the fundamentals of what Kami is. So that course is available, and that takes you on a journey to what Frankie is already now, a Kami hero. So you start with the level 1, then you can do level 2 if you get inspired and beyond. But there are all these ways to reach out. We have a Facebook page, we have YouTube channels of videos and support. You can follow us on Twitter and socials for tips and tricks. And then also I want to land with 2 codes. The first code, as we wrap up, is my code you can quickly scan with your phone in order to book that next call with me. Meet me in a call and ask me your questions. I can get you set up. If there's anything today you needed more time on as we were playing, we can go back to that and we can do that. We can open up a resource you're going to use with your class together and chat about how it can be enhanced in Kami. So that's calendly.com, Nicole Kami. And then just as we wrap up the last minute, I'd love for you to scan this code, please. If you would like a certificate for your participation in today's session, I know some of it was a conversation, but all of you got into Kami and had some experience with the tools. You've spent time learning about something for your classroom practice. And so we will provide you with a certificate that you can log for your SACE points. If you fill in this quick form, it's kamiapp.com/training feedback, or you can scan that code with your phone quickly and you can give us, and that automatically will send you a lovely certificate for your participation.
Nicole, what I really like is the way Kami is set together. Everything is interactive. There's like QR codes, links to get to anything that you need. Yeah, I must tell you, for me, this is very exciting. And from Schoolscape's side, I think a big shout out to Cami, and we can really vouch for you, for all the teachers out there that's on the school today. Let me tell you, from our side, working with Cami, it's an amazing company. And Nicole, I can promise you, going to give you amazing service. She's passionate about teaching, but she's also passionate about Cami and doing what she does. So this is really nice to have you on a call today, Nicole. I don't know, is there maybe any questions from the teacher side that maybe you guys have got? Anybody?
Yeah, for sure. We're running to the end of our time. If you need to get going, you know how to reach me. I'll just quickly pop my email again in the chat for you. But if you have a question that you'd like to ask, I'm going to stay on if you need me to. So feel free to shoot those questions in.
Cool. I don't know if I'm just quickly having a look in the chat. It doesn't look, or in the question bar, not exactly now. Remember, please, all the teachers on a call, there's a poll that's been running to say whether you would like some more feedback from Nicole's side or how to get in touch with her. Please complete that poll so that we can put you in touch with Nicole, so that she can show you all the amazing stuff that's possible with Cami and how to implement it. I think normally also the implementation part is the challenging part, but what I have seen today and what I have experienced, it's really easy to get going with Cami and for any teacher in their class. So yeah, Nicole, thank you for today. We really appreciate it, and it's been nice talking to you. And then we're looking forward to seeing you next year at our events as well.
Thank you so much, Werner, and to the Schoolscape team. And they're going to follow up with an email with slides. There's many more bits of information, juicy details there for you. And I look forward to connecting with you in calls soon. So let me know. Take care for now, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Bye.